Shalom Akim, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Akwakadash, double and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone Rule Well. This is Brother Nash DC Camp giving another short lesson to edify the hopeful elect. Alright, so I'm just going to get into a quick topic, because you always have to understand the costs of doing the work. Just like in the world, you understand the cost of doing the business. You got to have a plan, you got to get materials, you got to deal with, the payment of bills, promotions, or let me say advertising, and, paying, paying for goods and services, so your businesses could be operated efficiently. All right. So just something you need to keep in mind, that when you come to serve the Lord, you have to understand what it also takes. All right. That's the reason why I'm going to read the book of Luke, chapter 14. I'm going to start from 27. All right. In fact, you know what? It tells you this. Let me start from verse 26. It says, no, 25 is best. All right. So Luke 14 and 25. And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, If any man come to me, and hate not his father and mother, and wife, and children, and brethren, and sisters, yea, and his own life, also he cannot be my disciple. And it's that simple. And it's not really, it doesn't say hate them in a negative way. But when you look at, if you pull it up in the blue letter, clearly, let me just tell you what it says. All right. So I'm going to pull it up on a different device. So it's from the book of Luke, chapter 14. I'm going to read the Greek word for hate in that precept. All right. So the Greek word there is myself.
Strong's G 3404, Messiah.
All right.
Messiah.
G 3404. All right. So it says, to hate, pursue with hatred, detest, to be hated, detested. You already know that's not proper. All right. Scripture already talks about, loving thy neighbor as thyself. Okay. So, and then you look into the Strong's definition, and then if you keep reading through it, it's going to say to love less. All right. So they no longer become your topmost priority. You still care about them, but they're not as important as the words of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai. All right, which is what is put before you, to fulfill. All right, just like the word talks about, being fruitful. All right, you gotta nourish, the pasture of the Lord. You gotta feed the flock. All right, and the flock is basically those of the nation of Israel that are willing to hear the words of Hamashiach Yahushai. All right. So it says in verse 27, and whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. All right, so that's what it is, the cost of doing this work. And it tells you your cross, serving the Lord. That's your responsibility. All right, so if you also look at the word cross in verse 27, so the word there is Storos, G4716.
Strong's G 4716, Staras.
All right. And then it says, a pole or cross, an instrument of capital punishment. Well, the word wasn't given to you to punish you, all right? So then it says, i.e., self-denial. Okay, the words of the Lord Yahweh Shai teaches you self-denial, all right? Meaning you have to set aside things that are not of great value to you, all right? The things that you can live without, all right? Just like I mentioned in my previous lesson, all right? That's what it really talks about, okay? Self-denial, what you can do without, okay? So you have to be of that mindset that the word of the Lord Yahweh is all you need, and every other thing else you have to let it go. So this is your burden, this is your yoke. All right, you can't be carrying your worries around with you. You have to let it go. All right, and then you look at verse 28. It says that for which of you intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and count the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply when he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mark him. All right, so it's always important. You have to know what it's going to take you to finish the journey, to complete the task. To do the will of the Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, you have to understand what it's going to take. All right, and you should walk towards it. All right, you're going to need certain resources. Okay, but most primarily is faith. All right, faith is the driving force. Once you have faith, you're able to accomplish everything that is necessary for the ministry, and that's exactly what the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai Ba'ashim Kakadash is letting us know. Okay, so you go to if you read from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and then if you read from verse 1 all the way down to around verse 8, it tells you what is required for the ministry. So it says in verse 1, dare any of you having a matter against another go to law before the unjust and not before the saints? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? All right, so you understand the responsibility of serving the Lord. It's going to be opportunity, to judge righteously. Okay, and you don't have time to be concerned about the world. All right. Then verse 3 says, know ye not that we shall judge angels? Meaning you're going to give angels charge concerning a certain matter to get certain things done, on your behalf. Just like when you pray to the Lord, things happen. You get angels minister unto you. Okay, they minister unto the brothers, and they're there to protect you. Okay, then it says in verse, let me see, I read furthermore, say, how much more things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. All right, so when you're in a higher position, you don't have to be carrying much load. Okay, you have to just learn to distribute the labor. Okay, you have to learn to let certain things, be handled, right, by others. That's how the work of the Lord is. You have to learn, to share the burden. All right. Then it says, so this is verse 16, verse 6, verse 5. All right. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. All right, so that's the issue. The Apostle Paul was bringing to the church in Corinth. All right, they weren't really, really wise concerning the ministry. They didn't really count the cost. They weren't really, basically they weren't diligent enough to know about what it takes to serve the Lord. All right. So this is just the kinks, that are being exposed, in the ministry, in camps, when camps first start. You know how things get a little bit rough and bumpy along the way. Situations arise when there's conflict, you know, of interest and all that stuff. So the Lord about Shema Shai, create an opportunity for brothers to grow and let them know what needs to be done. Okay? So that's the reason why, it's just going on. Okay, verse 6 says, but brother goeth to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers. All right. So whatever happens, within camp, stays within the camp. We judge, among ourselves, but you just don't, you just don't, put your business out there. All right. That's the reason why the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai wants us to judge discreetly. All right. Then verse 7 says, verse 7 says that now and therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Nay, ye do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. So that's the issue. When it comes to starting camps, you're always gonna have certain issues that have to be resolved along the way. So that's exactly part of the costs that has to be addressed, because you still have to deal with brothers young in the faith that haven't really been versed in the scriptures. All right. So I'm going to read another precept. It's going to be from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. I'm going to read verse 8. All right. So it says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And that's exactly what, the camp is about. It's rough at the beginning, and at the end, it's perfect. And that's what the Lord by Shema Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, is exposing to us. All right. To let us know that, it's going to be rough. It's going to be bumpy. You're going to have tribulation. But at the end of the day, you're going to be saved. You're going to be delivered. You're going to grow in the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem HaKadosh. It's that simple. All right. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So when you suffer for this word, you labor for this word, to help brothers grow in the spirit, you make time to be available to brothers, when they try to reach you and all that stuff, and to, have lessons that brothers could use to build up their spirit. It helps. When you see a brother moving up, you also know that you're moving up in the spirit too. All right, that's what it boils down to. All right. So I read it one more time. It says, book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So there is no room for pride when you come to serve the Lord. All right. There's always room for confidence. All right. But to be arrogant and proud, that's gonna, stop the camp from growing. It's gonna create obstacles, and that's the reason why the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai have to purge, camps, because of brothers always bringing obstacles, and that's why you have to pray that you're not an obstacle, to the camp that you're in. All right. It's really, really, really important that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, lets you know that you have to get yourself in shape, get yourself in order, before the before the heavy axe of judgment comes upon your head. All right. So now the precept is going to be from the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. I'll read verse 1. It says, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth easily beset us, and let us run with patience unto the race that is set before us. All right? So it's telling you what you're going to be experiencing and what you have to let go. All right? And what you need to do. So attain that goal. Okay? Then verse 2 says, looking unto Hamashiach Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High Yahweh. And then verse 3 says, for consider him that endured such contradictions of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. I read it one more time. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 3. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your own minds. All right, that's why it's letting you know that the Lord Yahushua went through so much difficulties trying to, bring the gospel to our people back then, and they gave him a hard time. They made his life miserable, always trying to trap him up in his words and all that. And they succeeded in in killing him, in murdering him, and colluding with the enemy to take Yahushua, to murder Yahushua, to shed his blood, and not knowing that he was going to be resurrected, and that the ministry will continue, and that he's going to return again to judge them. All right, and it's also letting us know that if you continue in the same footstep of Hamashiach Yahushua and his disciples, you're going to have people twisting your words. You're going to have people twisting the words of Hamashiach Yahushua that's written in the scriptures. And you're going to have all manner of things said against you for serving the Lord. All right? You're going to have to deal with it with difficulties. You're going to have to deal with violent elements within our nation and the heathens too that do not want the Lord Yahushua to return. All right? And then I get another precept. It's going to be from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9. First Corinthians chapter 9, I'm going to read from verse 24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the the prize. And that's in this world, the most valuable medal in this world. When you have all these Olympics and everything else, it's the gold. It's the gold, But then it says, so run that ye may obtain. All right. So meaning you have to put in the effort, all right, to get your reward. Okay. And then in verse 25 it says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. All right. And that's a beautiful thing when you serve the Lord. You know that whatever you're working for, the Lord is always going to secure it for you. And that's one thing that the enemy, of our nations, whether they be Edomites, Moabites, Hamites, Ammonites, Ishmaelites, whatever they are, they can't touch it. They can't get close to it. And they are offended about that. All right. So that's verse 25, and verse 26 says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly. All right, so we're not running for something that you cannot obtain, or let me say you cannot achieve. It's already sure. All right, this is a sure prize. All right, whether you come in first place, second place, third place, you're still going to get a prize. Everyone's going to receive the price of salvation, the price of being in the kingdom. All right, in spirit and in truth. Being changed to a righteous, to a righteous entity, to a righteous Israelite. That's the end goal. All right, so you serve the Lord with a pureness of mind. You won't have time to be thinking about temptations. All right. So fight I, not as one that beateth the air. All right. So you already know that what you're fighting for is already set. It's how you say it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed price. Okay. Verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection. All right. The costs. Okay. Lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So you run in the race, so you don't lose so you don't lose your spot. You don't fall out of the race because you have to finish the race. You have to be in shape to get the work done. Okay, and that's what the scripture is really telling you. You have to count the cost. Learn to keep your body under. You train. That's what the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is talking about. Blessed is he that readeth and hear the words of this prophecy. You fast, you pray, you observe the high and holy days, you fellowship with brothers, and that's basically preparing you for the journey. Okay? So that's the point that I came. Hope you've been edified. I pray Lord Hamashaki Awashai continue to bless you so that you finish the race in spirit and in truth. Ba'ashem Yahshai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, Shalom.